Making money from a game or app you made is rewarding, but you might have some questions. For instance, where do you start? Or what options do I have? And how to add them to your game. In this series, I'll try to answer all these questions and help you with monetizing your game. If this is something that you're interested in, be sure to click on that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. In this video, let's start by introducing the different monetization strategies. The details and the implementation of each strategy will be in their separate videos. But first, before we go through the list of strategies, no matter what monetization strategy you're using to successfully make money from your game, it is very important for the game to be enjoyable to play. And I'll show why in a little bit. Now, one of the strategies that we have available is paid games. I think this is one of the most straightforward to understand. You make a game, publish it to one or more of the stores like Steam, itch.io, Google Play, App Store, and start making money. Well, it's not that simple. You need to do some marketing for your game before you publish. But for that, I might create a series in the future. For now, let's assume you got the marketing down and you are getting installs. How much installs do you need to make $1,000? Well, that depends on how you price the game. If you price the game at $1, you need 1,000 installs to make that $1,000. If you price it at 2, you need 500. Price it at 5, you need 200. And if you price it at 10, you need 100. Now, you can't really just pick a random price and sell your game at that. You really need to put the right price for your game. And this is where the quality of your game and how much content you have in the game is very important, because the more quality and more content you have, the bigger price you can actually put for your game. And people will buy your game if they feel like they're getting what they're paid for. The other option that we have is free games. And in free games, there are two main options that you have to make money. One of them is displaying ads. So you can use Unity ads or AdMob or some other ad network. This is more common for mobile games, but to make that same $1,000, let's assume on average you're getting 1 cent per ad view. The actual average number will vary from game to game, and there's a lot of different variables that affect this number, but let's say it's 1 cent. Let's take a look at the numbers. So if you get 1 ad view per install, you need to get 100,000 installs to actually get that $1,000. Now that's a lot of installs. If on average an installed player watches 5 ads, then you need 20,000. For an average of 10 ads views, you need 10,000 installs. And for an average of 20 ad views, you need 5,000 installs. Now you can see that the more ad views you get, the less installs you need to make that $1,000. But to get higher ad views, again, you need to provide an enjoyable game that a player will play and will be fine watching those ads. Now, of course, you can increase the amount of ads you display, so you can force more ads on the user. But when you force ads on the user, you're risking the user to uninstall the game because they feel like they're watching more ads than actually playing the game. But it's still possible to get 100 ad views on your game if your game has enough content for the player to play a long time. So if the player plays for a year, 1 ad a day won't be that noticeable, so you won't lose that player because of how much ads you serve. One more option that we have is in-app purchases, or IAP. And this one is a little bit more complicated. There's lots more work that you need to do, and you have to think about it in advance to how you're actually gonna improve your gameplay with providing in-app purchases so that it won't feel like the player needs to pay money in order to win the game. To make $1,000, let's assume that 2.5% of players that install the game actually make an in-app purchase. And depending on average spending in the game, you can calculate how many installs you need to make that $1,000. If on average, the player that makes in-app purchases spends $1 in your game, you need 40,000 installs to actually make 1,000. And if on average they spend $2, then you need 20,000. $5, you'll need 8,000 installs, and an average of $10, you'll need 4,000 installs. So that's just some numbers to look at, but you don't have to implement just one of these options. You can actually implement both of them. So let's take a look at implementing in-app purchases and ads. One of the common ways of doing that is having the game with ads, but then have an in-app purchase that disables the ads. And if you do something like that, you can monetize on the free users that don't have the money to pay for the game, but they still enjoy the game. So they'll be fine playing the game and watching some ads. And with this kind of setup, you need less installs than you would with just in-app purchases. So instead of needing 40,000 installs to make this $1,000 with $1 spending on average, the ad views that the free players get offset it by more than half, so that way the game can make $1,000 with less installs. Here's some more numbers that you can look at. So hopefully these numbers show you that it is important to have a good quality game. That gives you an opportunity to make more money from your game.